here's the story that I'm kind of getting from you, and if this is what you're going to go with, it's not going to be good for you.
Okay.
You're going to say that you guys randomly showed up at a random spot to randomly smoke some marijuana, ran into a random camp, and shot some guy.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah.
I'm kind of being serious. I think that's what happened. I think he literally just shot the guy.
This is 28-year-old Dalton Aiken, who, along with his buddy, Corey Fitzwater, is accused of murdering a homeless man named Brian Racine. They could have gotten away with it, but thanks to their immaculate stupidity, now they're being grilled in the interrogation room and face life in prison. Around 4 a.m. on August 16, 2018, Ogden City police officers were dispatched to the 21st Street Pond area in response to a 911 call reporting that a, quote, male in a large army tent had suffered a head injury. The caller even guided the officers through a wooded area to the victim's camp, which, quote, was difficult to get to, and the officers, quote, wouldn't have been able to find the injured male without the caller guiding them. When the officers arrived at the campsite, they found the victim lying by the fire pit next to a mat that was covered in blood. The officers determined that the victim was dead and had suffered a gunshot wound to the head. No one else was at the campsite, and the only piece of evidence was a .45 caliber shell casing near the body. The victim was Brian Racine from California, who had moved to Utah to join the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. At the time, his family had no idea he was living in a homeless shelter, and they were more shocked to find out about his untimely death. Earlier that morning, at around 2:30 a.m., a Weber County Sheriff's deputy was on patrol near the 21st Street Pond. The deputy in that area noticed a white truck in a parking lot where, on the driver's seat of the truck, the deputy, quote, observed a Ziploc baggie with a green leafy substance that appeared to be consistent with marijuana, along with a gun magazine. About 45 minutes later, the deputy saw two men return to the truck and drive away. The deputy followed, and after observing the driver commit a traffic violation, pulled the vehicle over and found Dalton and his buddy Corey and a whole lot of marijuana. He admitted that it belonged to him and got arrested. In a search incident to arrest, the deputy found a handgun and two magazines inside Aiken's truck and 3 .45 caliber bullets in Aiken's pocket. Aiken's passenger, Corey Fitzwater, was allowed to leave. For now. While Aiken was being held in jail for marijuana possession, detectives couldn't help but wonder if Aiken's traffic stop had a deeper connection to the murder of Brian Racine, which is why, 10 hours after his arrest, Aiken was taken from the jail to an interview room at the Weber County Sheriff's Office, where he was asked what he and Fitzwater had been doing near the 21st Street Pond.
Let's just start off. What will you tell me about what was going on this morning? Let's see. I got pulled over and I had marijuana. Okay. What about before the traffic stop? What were you doing? Oh, we were walking in the park. By the park, you mean like the pond and the trail and all that? Yeah, what do they call it? The old Indian place where the rivers meet. Familiar with that. Got a fancy term. Do you know what?
Yeah, it's right there where the Ogden and the Lee River meet. But you're on that whole trail complex that's back there behind the one you went in. I think I know where you went in, to where you go across the bridge and the trail goes up and down both ways, right? Okay.
Yeah, so let's see. So if you cross that main bridge at the parking lot, and then you just kind of keep going straight-ish, and then it curves to the right.
Yeah, right there where the two rivers come together.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And you were with, who were you walking with? Corey Fitzwater. Is he family, friend? Yep, family friend, exactly. Oh, what time do you think you guys got out there? Oh, it was late. We just got done busting up concrete for his neighbor with the sledgehammer. So we were kind of having a good time, you know. But I think it was 2 to 3. Okay. Somewhere.
We're talking AM, right?
You guys working that late busting concrete too? Well, we only busted concrete till about 12. they had it jacked up when they were trying to bust it, and it just would bust off a little piece every time. So we just started going to town, and it just all went.
So therapy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's that neighbor? Where does that live at?
The what?
Where was that at? I guess in concrete.
So it'd be kitty corner in his backyard.
The word is so neighbor. If it's neighbor of Corey's,
Yes.
where does Corey live at?
By Hoagie's.
Oh,
The detectives just have a hunch that the bullet recovered from the body matched his gun, but he knows what he did. Poor Aiken still thinks he's being interrogated for possession of drugs, a misdemeanor, when this interrogation is about the murder.
okay. So you guys are busting concrete. So what I'm talking about, I'm not worried about the marijuana or none of that. Okay, so that's all I'm interviewing for. So you guys break concrete. You guys normally go to the river to. So I'm assuming happens to go there for you to drink beer, smoke a blunt, and walk.
Exactly.
Quite beautiful out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something you guys normally do? Like
No.
a thing for you?
Yeah. We usually just hang out.
All right. How far did you guys walk around the trail?
I think I had the freeway in sights, at least. Like when you take that turn off in the distance, you can see the freeway.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys see anybody else on the trails or
Yeah, a couple of times.
other late night revelers or transients or what?
Campfires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I would assume transients.
Right. And forgive me, I think he knows this area better than I do. So you guys park.
Clearly, he hasn't been interrogated, nor has he seen any of the interrogation videos we post on our channel, unlike you. So if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to subscribe and you'll automatically be 100 times smarter than Aiken.
North, how does that trail split off? You can.
Yeah, so it'd go, let's see, that would be south, and then it heads to the west.
So, and how long? So you guys get there? You think around 2 to 3?
Yeah.
How long do you guys are out there for?
Enough to smoke a little, basically.
Sure. An hour, half hour? I know it's hard to tell time, but then
Half hour.
Did you guys hear any commotion or anything out there?
Well, I kind of have a feeling that I know what you guys are after. Like, did someone get killed? I mean, so I heard a gunshot. For sure.
That's just that vibrates, let us know it's still working. Where were you having heard the gunshot? I mean, relatively speaking.
So when you start heading towards the west, there's like a weird vinyl fence. Like if they got voltage up across it, you're not supposed to cross it, but it's about right there. I think it's a junkyard if you cross.
Now that the drugs have slowly left his brain, he starts to realize what this is about. On top of that, he admits to hearing the gunshot, which further incriminates him, as it places him and his buddy Fitzwater near the scene of the crime.
And so how much longer so you hear the shot, you guys finish whatever you're doing to get back to the car, how long do you think that took? And then you guys immediately got in the car, started and left, or did you guys hang around in the parking lot for a little bit?
No, we just left, got pulled over real quick. Didn't take long.
Did you guys go on to any of the campus while you were down there?
Like the homeless people? No, we actually never came face to face with any of them. Just there's a time.
Just through the fires. Do you know any homeless people that live out there?
I do not.
Aiken denies knowing any homeless people or coming face to face with them. Now all he needs is his buddy Fitzwater to support this claim, and for there to be no witnesses who can place Aiken at the scene. But even if he has both these things, there's still CCTV footage which can show him leaving the crime scene after the kill. Now, the detectives will end their rapport-building part of this interrogation after talking about the most important piece of evidence that ties him to the case: the gun.
All right. So next question I have for you is, the firearm that they found you with, that's 6 hours, is that right?
The what?
The gun you had in your car? Where did you get that?
I'm sorry, I missed it again. The what?
The gun you had in your car?
Oh, yeah.
Where did you get that?
So that's Corey's.
Okay. Do you know how long Corey's had it for?
No clue.
Did you guys take that with you when you were doing your walk?
No, I had some bullets in my pocket from earlier, but we were shooting it earlier, but we didn't take it on the walk.
Where were you guys shooting at?
West Warren. His parents in-law, a pretty good pad out there. Just lots of country, just
Oh,
open.
yeah.
Pretty good.
One of your targets?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Was Corey's gun, was that Corey's ammo too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I actually tried, we were going to make a trade. I took him my Universal, 30 caliber carbine Universal. So we were just on a gun kick, kind of on a trading thing.
Did you gonna trade the carbine for the?
I was thinking about it, but he never could talk me into it because it's my uncle's that made, there's a PT Cruiser that's so fancy at Frightmares in Lagoon.
I've got kids, I should go down there, but I don't.
But he built it, so it's kind of close.
Instead of denying it, he admits to having the gun and that he was shooting it earlier. We have to give him props here because he knows that his gun can be tested on whether it was fired or not. But at the same time, he's claiming that it's Fitzwater's gun. So far, he's agreed to be near the camps, shooting with Fitzwater, and that it's Fitzwater's gun. This gives them probable cause to arrest Fitzwater as an accessory if, or should I say when, Aiken is found guilty of murder.
So, when you guys were separated for whatever, go and take a urinate or whatever, did Corey leave you? Did you leave Corey?
I think I left him once, he left me once. I mean, not leave.
Right, bad sight.
Yeah.
To go do your business. Anything else that was going on out there that you think might have been weird or odd or struck your senses as kind of?
Yeah, the whole night, man. Like, just gave me a bad feeling. I sure as heck showed up as a bad one.
Can you articulate that at all? Like, what do you mean?
I mean, kind of like the Holy Ghost, I guess. Just someplace you shouldn't be right there.
And the bullets you had in your pocket, those were unfired rounds?
Correct.
Like we do, you just throw 50 rounds in your pocket and goes to the load layer out there?
Yeah.
What was Corey thinking about? Was he saying anything? How was Corey last night?
Yeah, he was upset. His wife was accusing him of cheating on her, which he claims for sure hasn't. But it makes him think that she is. That's what he told me. So yeah, we were venting that night for sure. I was kind of there for him.
How was Corey when he's upset? Is he calm? Does he get a little angry?
He gets a little angry, but I think it's his war stuff.
Aiken agreed to be separated a few times, even though he did it hesitantly. Perhaps he was thinking of an answer that would best fit the situation, because now he can claim that his friend must have shot someone while the two were separated. He's also trying to shift the detective's point of focus away from himself and towards Fitzwater by stating some of his reasons for shooting that night, but that's not going to stop the detective from pondering over the crazy coincidence.
Okay, so an area of concern or question that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys were there. How do I want to word this? We find in life, especially police work, coincidence doesn't occur a lot. Usually things happen and they seem tied together. They're most likely tied together somehow, right? So would there be any reason why we would find a spent shell casing that matches the gun you guys had at the scene of what we're investigating?
I'm gonna come clean right now, okay?
Thank you, because the forensic evidence tells us a story. You're not helping yourself.
Okay. So Corey did leave, and that's when I heard the gunshot. And that is it, man.
Even though this isn't the full truth, it's still a partial bit of it. Chances are Fitzwater would say the same, which would make this a he said, she said situation. And because the police have forensic evidence, they know that Aiken hasn't come clean yet.
And that's when we left, because I knew something bad happened, but he didn't say nothing.
How did he seem after?
Calm, I guess.
Like you know, you guys have been friends for a while? Okay. So post, when you're saying he left the gunshot and after, did he seem more almost relaxed? Yeah.
No, in this circumstance now, if what you're telling us is the truth, you're telling us you come clean, you're telling us this is the truth.
Yes. I'm telling
You need to get off any thoughts of protecting Corey.
Okay.
Okay, when we ask you questions and things like that, well, I don't want to drag these out of you. You need to give us all the details. This is not a short story. This is a long story, right?
Okay.
So if you give a short detail, like I walked away, I heard a gunshot, I thought something bad happened. There's a lot of shit that went up before you walked away from him. There's a lot of stuff that went on after. You are thinking about you now. If you're telling us the truth, you're not protecting Corey anymore.
Right.
Because if you're not a witness, what are you?
Let's see, what would it be? A bystander? Something?
No.
Yeah.
No, we call that in police work a suspect.
Okay.
Suspect and or accomplice.
Do you want to be a suspect, an accomplice, or a witness?
Well, I didn't do anything, so I don't want to be any of those.
No, what you want to be is a witness.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, you don't want to be an accomplice. You don't want to be a suspect. You want to be a witness.
Yeah.
Now, you have the potential to be a very good witness. Or you could be resistive and not share with us all the details, which is going to make you an accomplice. Does that all make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So when we ask you things, even if don't short the answers, and also if we don't ask details and you have details, share them, because you don't want anything to do with the end result of a man dying, right?
Yes, exactly.
And you understand, witness, it's a good role.
Okay.
Accomplice means you share punishment with the actor themselves. The courts don't differentiate.
Yeah.
If he shoots somebody and I'm there, and even if I know about it, and I don't do anything, I'm an accomplice and I share his prison sentence.
Aiken keeps denying his involvement in the case, which is why the detective had to make it clear that by withholding useful information, his involvement as an accessory to murder would also land him in jail. This is done to intensify the interrogation environment and ensure that Aiken fully understands the gravity of the situation. Now, we're just as curious as you are to see how long he's planning to keep this story alive until it eventually falls.
Okay. You don't want to be that guy, right?
Correct. And I knew nothing about this.
So let's go back.
Okay.
You guys just didn't randomly be walking down a trail. He walks right and just decides to shoot somebody. There's something that led you guys to that camp.
And that's why I brought up his wife still, because I think really that's what it is, because I can't think of any reason.
Okay. Well, he wanted you to take him down there.
Yeah, who picked the spot to go?
I always knew it. Yep. Yeah, because I grew up in Slaterville. Yep.
Yeah, but I'm saying you guys, what led you guys there?
Tonight.
We know you know the spot. What led you there last night?
Yeah, marijuana.
So are you going to buy marijuana?
No, we're smoking it.
Okay. So
the cops found my bag.
So here's the story that I'm kind of getting from you, and if this is what you're going to go with, it's not going to be good for you.
Okay.
You're going to say that you guys randomly showed up at a random spot to randomly smoke some marijuana, ran into a random camp, and shot some guy.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking what happened was there was a reason you guys went there. The guy that was there you knew, or Corey knew, Corey or you knew he was there. So you guys went down there to deal with that. Now, I understand you not wanting to be involved in the actual process of it, but there's something that led you guys to that spot. I refuse to believe that Corey just randomly picked some guy and shot him.
Start from the truth, dude.
I'm kind of being serious. I think that's what happened. I think he literally just shot the guy. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but literally.
That's a hard sell in a court of law.
Yeah, it is.
When you're on the stand and we're trying to convince the jury that, no, Dalton didn't have anything to do with this.
Oh, okay. I got you. It's his PTSD stuff. I don't think this is the first time it's happened, but I think it's something to do with that.
Okay, so what did Corey say before he shot the guy?
Nothing. Like, it was...
What made you separate from him?
He went off the trail, and I followed him.
Okay.
And he shot the guy.
So you were there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing we want to make clear, that you guys didn't separate.
Yeah.
So that's helpful because to say that he randomly walks away from you does this. He walks off the trail towards the camp.
Yeah, and
Does he say something about going to that camp? Is he pissed off at that camp?
No, he sees it.
Okay.
But no.
Kudos to the detective here for breaking his first barrier of lies by presenting the alternate story of how random his actions were. When that didn't hold up, he just caved and agreed to have witnessed Fitzwater shooting the person. This removes the question of whether he's an accessory to murder or not, but it's hard to tell considering how much he changes his story.
No.
So you guys walk towards this camp, and it's random. You say Corey doesn't know this guy.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy.
Yeah.
So you walk into this camp. Did they say anything to you?
I think the guy was sleeping, to tell you the truth.
So the guy's in bed sleeping. Where's he at?
On the ground.
He's sleeping on the ground?
Yeah.
Is he in a tent, under a tarp, just laying on the dirt, a sleeping bag?
Just the dirt, I think.
Okay.
I think.
So tell me, when you follow Corey to the camp, kind of tell me about the camp a little bit.
Okay. It was kind of hard to see because it was dark, and his fire looked like it pretty much went out.
Okay.
But there was a big tent by it.
Okay.
So there's a big tent there.
Okay.
And you walk in, and you think he's asleep.
I don't walk in. He's asleep outside the tent. He's on the ground.
That's what I'm saying. When you walk into the camp, you believe he's asleep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does Corey say?
He kind of mumbles in like a drunk talk, like, how are you doing?
Corey says that?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is he drunk?
Yeah, he probably was like 10 deep, probably.
10 beers?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Plus, have you guys smoked marijuana at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got marijuana and beer. And you say mumble something.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. And to the guy.
To the guy.
Yep.
And then what?
Shot him.
What did the guy say anything to him?
I don't know. It's almost like I just didn't want. You know what I mean? And so I don't think I looked when he shot him.
Okay.
But if I had to guess, somewhere here.
Okay, so he shoots him somewhere in the upper body. Then what?
Then he takes off running, and I don't know what else to do but run too, I guess.
Okay.
Get in the truck, get pulled over.
Okay. Forensic evidence on the scene doesn't tell that story.
Okay.
Things that we can prove don't tell us that. Okay.
More.
There was more to it.
Okay.
So
I'll try.
I'm going to quit dragging shit out.
No, seriously.
You need to tell us it.
Okay. I'm trying. I really am.
Because there's more to it. But you need to understand that when we ask you questions, a lot of times we already know what those answers are.
Yeah.
Okay. And when you leave things out of the story, it makes it look bad for you. Okay. So we need to stop that.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay. So where'd you want to know? Because I thought
I want to know the truth is what I want to know, but I know what all the evidence is. I know what the forensic evidence tells us. We know a lot of this story already. I want you to tell me that story. I want you to be honest with me and be a witness to this, not a suspect.
No, I just left that scene with CSI. Okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly what happened there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like he said, there's more to it than just running away.
Finish it. Because a lot of the things you're telling us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I took off running. He took off running. I lost him.
Okay.
And I got to the truck and I had to wait for him for 25 minutes. I'll bet you. That's probably the part that was missing, huh?
Well, I wouldn't say so.
And he said he ran into more people and fought him with his fists.
Okay.
Some more stuff happened in the camp.
That was away from the camp. That was somebody else's
in the
camp.
He's asking you. He's making a statement to you.
More stuff happened in the camp after the shooting happened. That's what we're trying to get the truth about.
You guys didn't walk in banging and run away. There was more to it than that.
I promise you, yeah. I really do promise you.
The funny thing here is how he's guessing what happened instead of telling the actual truth. At this point, the detectives can keep telling him he's lying and he'll make another story up and ask if that's what happened. So, before this gets out of hand, the detectives need to restate the obvious.
Tell you what.
I really do.
Tell you what. We're going to give you a few minutes to think about it.
Okay.
Now, I don't want you to tell me anything that's not true.
Okay.
If you're telling me the truth, you stick to your story.
For sure.
But I don't believe your story. So we're going to give you a few minutes to think about how you want to proceed here. And we're going to come back in and you're going to tell us the real story of what happened out there.
Okay.
Now, if it's the story you've already told me, fine. That's going to be your version of the truth.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the evidence is going to point that that's not the truth.
Oh, man.
But I don't want you to lie to me.
Okay, I promise.
Okay,
that.
give us a minute, okay?
Yeah.
We'll just leave that right there.
Okay.
Hey Dalton.
Hey.
Hey, we're actually going to be moving you over to Ogden City Police Department. I'm going to drive you over there.
Okay.
Okay? I'm Detective Haney. I work with the Sheriff's Office. I'm going to be taking you over. Since you're already been booked into Weaver County, I'll take you over there and then I'll stay there until we've answered questions and stuff at Ogden City, and then I'll bring you back.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Very good. I'll meet you over there, okay?
We're going to take your sandwich too.
Awesome.
I got a handcuff you.
Okay.
Okay, stand up.
Yeah.
You go take it in the room with you.
Put your hand behind your back. Yeah, we'll bring your sandwich. How was it?
Well, I'm having a tough time eating today, so I need to eat it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even after the interrogation location changed, his story didn't. Afterwards, Aiken and his partner in crime got booked for first-degree murder, and as the two were approaching their trial date, Fitzwater took blaming to another level. Not only did they each make separate phone calls accusing the other, Fitzwater bribed multiple uninvolved inmates to approach the police and tell them how Aiken confessed to murdering Racine. Of course, it didn't work because of how unconvincing the inmate sounded as he spoke out on his story.
So what is it that you wanted to tell us about it?
What he told me was what he'd done was very rude and wrong. And even telling me with this guy, he even spoke in his mouth for a minute. That he did tell me that even. And the reason why he did it, he's a bum. He said no one cared for him.
Okay, walk me through this. So how long ago did you guys have a conversation about this?
Like a couple months ago.
Okay. And where were you when it happened?
Right in jail.
Well, I know that, but where?
I was like talking and like through his cupboard.
Okay. So he was inside his cell and you were outside of his cell?
Correct.
And how did the conversation start?
Just talking about like Trinity and stuff like that. Then he asked me what I was in here for. I told him what I was here for. Then he told me what he was here for, how it happened, why it happened. And he said it just shady shit he did. And Clinton died in Montana, where he used to work at, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He said he did some shady, but he doesn't want to talk about it.
Okay. So now let's be specific about the conversation you had with him through the cuff port. What exactly did he say?
Talking and saying that the guy that he shot, him and his co-defendant, he said, did not touch him, didn't do nothing like that, because they were drinking that day, traded him a gun for like a couple other guns he got that day from him, and he traded him for a 45, I guess.
Who is this co-defendant?
Corey Fitzwater.
Okay. Have you talked to Corey?
I haven't talked to Corey. But I've been talking to Dalton here and there.
What else did Dalton say?
Dalton said what he exactly was, does he feel like shit for doing it? Yeah, but like he said, he has no one to worry about him. He just did him a job, basically. He lived on the streets, didn't give a shit, and that was just his thing for a while, just to kill someone, a bum. And what he said was he was basically cleaning up the streets that day.
Considering that he is on Fitzwater's bribe roll, it's hard to believe that he hasn't ever met him. He also claims that Aiken claims that Corey didn't touch the dead body, which is the exact opposite from the interrogation we just saw. At this point, it's hard to side with either of them because of how dumb they're both acting. On top of that, they get this underpaid actor to further push his cock and bull story, which at some point is just jokes.
You said he basically said that. Did he actually say that?
He said that, he does.
What were his actual words to you?
He said, basically what I was doing, just cleaning up the streets.
Okay. Did he say anything else?
Then I was like, how do you feel about that? He's like, I feel okay about it. He thinks he'll get out of it. And what I said is, do you believe in God or stuff like that? And he said, yeah, I believe in God. But I feel that God wanted me to do that to him.
Okay.
And he's...
And then what happened?
Then after that, we just stopped talking about the case.
Okay. Is he still here?
Yes, he is.
And so do you still talk to him?
Yeah.
And do you ever talk about the case?
He brings it up mostly.
Yeah. And what has he said about it since that?
If he had the chance to go back in time, he'd probably do it again to another person.
And he said that to you?
Yeah. He said that was his thing. I don't know why. That was just his thing that he wanted to do.
What was you said? You mentioned that he'd done it in another place.
He said he did some shady shit.
Where?
What's the shady shit? Glendive, Montana.
Glendive, Montana.
Yeah.
Are you familiar? I know you're from Montana. Are you familiar with Glendive?
Not really. I just stopped there and put gas, and that's it.
Okay.
Every time when I was there. He said he just did some very shady, horrible shit over there.
Okay.
Then I was like, what did you do? It's too horrible. I can't even. I was like, is that horrible than this? He said, yeah. And he said, when it happened, I immediately jumped back here in Utah. It took me like 2 days to get back home.
Okay. So, what did he tell you specifically about this one and how it happened?
What happened was...
Did he say where it happened?
It was in a park, I believe he said. Okay. You were drinking that night, and because he had like 5 or 6 bullets in his pocket and some inside a chamber, I guess. He was planning to do more. If Corey wasn't with him, he was planning to shoot a couple more people. Because, like he said, they're bums. They had nothing to live for. Okay. Just doing them a favor.
Okay. And specifically, what did he tell you he did?
He told me he pulled the trigger and blew one guy's head.
Okay. And did he say anything else specifically about it?
He felt good about it, doing it.
Okay. Did he say what he did after?
He just left, and some other person, I don't know who it was, that contacted the police. He said he doesn't know.
Fitzwater really sold his story by covering some interesting points, which coincide with Aiken's life. He did skip to Utah, and he did have a religious family, but before the detectives can swallow this snitch's story, which they won't, they have to come in with some hard-hitting facts to prove that this lead is absolutely pointless.
Okay. It's Mr. Costello, right? Okay. How how did you first meet Dalton Aiken?
How?
Yeah.
He was downstairs, living downstairs in like 102. That's the cell. And I started talking to him, asking him where is he from, what was he doing in here, and stuff like that.
Okay. And you know, what exactly did he say he was in there for?
He was there for murder. He said aiding and abetting.
Okay. What else?
For shooting a homeless person that he said that time he didn't do it.
Okay. So he said he didn't do it.
Yeah, he said he didn't do it. Then like 3 months later, he told me how it happened and stuff like that.
Okay. Do you know who he has said did it?
What do you mean?
Well, who has he told us did the shooting?
Did he do the shooting?
Well, no, I'm asking you. Did he tell you what he told us? Why he's locked in there?
Yeah, he told me that time. Next time, he told me why he was in there for. He said because he seen the bomb that night. You were drinking.
But did he tell you who he told police did the shooting?
No. He
Why?
said he did it.
Why do you think Corey Fitzwater's locked up?
Why? Because he blamed it on
Who did?
Dalton Aiken.
Okay. So why do you think Dalton would confide in you, a stranger, that
Why?
he's the one who did the shooting?
Why would he tell me he did it? Because he said he's going to be going to prison. I said, how long are you going to be going to prison for? He said either 15 to life or 25 to life. I was like, what'd you do? He says, I went, had a gun that night, and I had some bullets.
No, that's not the question I asked.
I'm getting to that question. Okay. He told me that time why he was in there for, how it all happened, and why he did it. It was just
That still doesn't answer my question. Why would he tell you, a complete stranger?
because I told him my charge. No one else inside the pod told him their charges.
According to the last person that I talked to,
I
everybody
don't
talks
know
about
who
their
the-
charges in there.
I don't know who the last person.
Happily,
What about him?
he says everybody talks about their charges in there.
Not I. Not a few people inside there. We don't talk about charges.
Well, I've got another guy who's in your pod who says everybody talks about their charges. That's why, everybody.
The reason
does
why
talk
we don't
about
talk about our charges because a lot of people goes and try to get a better deal, and we don't talk about our charges, especially in
it.
my
And
case.
is this what you're trying to do here?
No, I'm just doing the right thing.
You
just
haven't asked for a deal.
No, I never
The
actually.
last investigator you talked to with the defense attorneys, you didn't ask for a deal?
The only I talked to Robert Brunson, and I gave him information.
And you didn't ask for him for a deal?
Pretty sure I didn't. I just
I
asked.
have that recorded conversation. I listened to it before I talked to you today. You want me to regurgitate what you said?
Please.
You said, I'm looking for a deal
And I didn't say
in exchange for information.
for
For this.
for whatchamacallit. Did I say giving you guys information what he gave me?
You talked to Robert Brunson and said that you wanted.
I
A
gave
deal.
him information to tell him that this person told me what he done, how it all happened. That's what I told Robert Brunson. He asked me too that day. He said, would you want a great deal for this? I said, yeah, sure.
Okay,
I would
that's
I would
semantics.
want a great deal.
Dude, that's semantics, okay? Don't act like you're
If
Mother
it's-
Teresa and you just came forward out of the goodness
But
of
here's
your
the
own
thing,
heart.
if it's
How did you even get contacted by Robert Brunson?
how?
Yeah.
I don't know how.
How do they know you knew this?
How did they know that you knew this?
How did they know? Talk to Dalton.
That's not Dalton's attorney.
I understand that.
So how did you get contacted by Robert Brunson?
I do not have a clue.
Who did you tell that you knew information about Dalton?
No one else.
No one else. Well, then how did they even know to contact you?
How? I do not have a clue. That's the thing I don't understand. How did Robert?
I'm done talking to you.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's how quickly they realized that Mr. Costello was not worth the time and effort. During Fitzwater's trial, a Weber County jury found him guilty of murder, a first-degree felony, obstructing justice, a second-degree felony, possession or use of a firearm by a restricted person, and 2 counts of tampering with a witness, all third-degree felonies. He was sentenced on Friday to a term of at least 16 years in prison. Dalton Aiken was found guilty of murder and sentenced to a minimum of 15 years and up to life in prison. Even after the sentences, the two kept maintaining their innocence, that it was the other person who shot Brian Racine. In the end, no one ever fully understood why the two did what they did, and according to the judge, Racine was just in the wrong place at the wrong time that night in Ogden. Now, if you think this case was horrific, you got to be sure to watch my video on the cannibal psychopath who ate his victim alive.